This is Eyewitness News with John Drury and Marianne Childers, Steve Deschler's weather, Tim Weigel on sports, and the Eyewitness News team. This is Eyewitness News.
Good evening. 15 former prisoners of war tonight have told the nation tales of terror. They say they were beaten, kept in solitary confinement, and given poor food and medical treatment while being held in Iraq.
Captivity was a terrifying experience. We were kept in solitary confinement. We underwent interrogations. There was some mistreatment.
The 15 aviators spoke to reporters in 2 different locations near Washington. Most indicated their mistreatment had been worst in the earlier days, or what they called the interrogation phase of their captivity. Captain Jeffrey Zahn, whose battered face on Iraqi television made him the best known of the POWs, insisted his appearance wasn't a result of torture.
Most of it was popping out of an airplane at 500 miles an hour.
He explained how his famous TV appearance was choreographed.
They took me to a TV studio, set me up next to the big guy that I was asking the questions. They told me what, I guess, 5 questions they were going to ask. Then they told me what my answers were going to be.
Basically, I had some wires wrapped around my ears and under my chin and was shocked periodically. You got kind of numb after the first few shocks. I lost a few pieces of teeth and other things like that during that time.
The Pentagon has already said it is investigating the mistreatment of the prisoners in connection with possible war crimes trials. Only 3 missing servicemen remain unaccounted for. Marianne?
John, President Bush met with French President Francois Mitterrand today on the Caribbean island of Martinique. Under sunny skies on the grounds of a former rum plantation, Mr. Bush and President Mitterrand discussed unrest in Iraq and possible solutions to the Palestinian problem in Israel. Both men agreed that the Allied coalition should not interfere in Iraq's internal affairs. But both also expressed concern that Iraq is using helicopter gunships and warplanes to put down the rebellion in the north. According to Mr. Bush, this is a violation of the ceasefire agreement. After the meeting, Mr. Bush flew on to Bermuda for weekend talks with British Prime Minister John Major. The ruler of Kuwait ended 7 months of exile today to face the mammoth task of rebuilding his once prosperous nation. Sheikh al-Sabah was greeted by only a few government officials and diplomats. The emir has been criticized by some Kuwaitis for waiting so long to return to his home.
Well, Marianne, members of the 63rd Aeromedical Evacuation Service of the Air Force Reserves arrived at O'Hare tonight, back from Desert Storm. Families greeted their loved ones with banners and flowers and lots of kisses. Reservist moms and dads hugged their kids after not seeing them for months.
Have a kiss? Give me a kiss. Thank you, sweetie.
This is number 2 war for me, and I can assure you this welcome was a lot nicer than the other one.
Well, also arriving tonight at O'Hare was the 928th Tactical Airlift Group of the Air Force Reserves. They were stationed in Saudi Arabia and in Britain. Marianne?
In London, a court has freed 6 men jailed for 16 years for Irish Republican Army bombings. They were serving life sentences for the deadliest IRA attack ever on the British mainland. 21 people were killed, 162 injured when 2 pubs were bombed in 1974. Police said 4 of the men confessed and 2 of them had nitroglycerin on their hands. Well, the Court of Appeals overturned the convictions after hearing testimony that police reports may have been altered and the nitroglycerin may have come from soap. Attorney General Dick Thornburgh has ordered a nationwide investigation of police brutality complaints filed with the federal government. This comes following the brutal police beating of a Los Angeles man that was captured on home video. Tonight, an angry crowd in Los Angeles confronted Police Chief Daryl Gates during a police commission hearing. They want him removed from his job.
Students learn from their teachers, communities learn from their leaders, and police officers learn from their chief of police.
You take an oath to protect and serve, but when you come to the black community, all you do is abuse.
Daryl Gates needs to go.
The victim, who suffered a fractured skull and a shattered eye socket, among other injuries, underwent successful head surgery today. A Los Angeles grand jury is investigating this incident, and indictments are expected by the end of the week.
Well, all but a handful of Southwest suburban residents have their power back on tonight, 2 nights after a severe late winter snowstorm snapped power lines in the Kankakee area. But as Dick Johnson reports, some Commonwealth Edison customers will have to wait just a bit longer.
Small town of St. Anne is at the top of the casualty list. On the slush-covered road leading to it, just southeast of Kankakee, there are 7 miles of textbook examples of what happens when 2 inches of ice coat the heavy electrical conductor wire and high winds make it sway. The result has been a 3-day blackout of the entire town.
We're eating mostly snacks, things that we don't have to keep refrigerated, and keeping some things outside, you know, that we like our milk and things. And
this restaurant and bar owner is hoping $20,000 worth of meat will keep in his ice house. While at Edwards Market, it's dark but not closed. Everything that's not perishable is selling.
Well, we've been really busy. People have really been buying things that they don't have to cook.
100 ComEd crews and 35 other contractors, along with dozens of Illinois Bell workers, have been making repairs day and night, but still estimate 1 to 3 more days before all is well.
We hope to make tremendous progress today, but I think there'll still be customers out of service tomorrow.
Talk to people who live and work around here, and they'll say they haven't seen anything like this for 25 to 50 years. Take a look at the Kankakee paper, and it says it all in one word: clobbered. In Kankakee, Dick Johnson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And if we're lucky, that will be the last snow of the season. Steve Deschler has the forecast for the next few days a bit later. Marianne.
But first, John, the mayor and challenger Eugene Pincham trade barbs on the state budget. Also, the results of a new study on the effects of video display terminals on pregnant women. And later, some strange doings on the French fashion scene.
A punch thrown by Razor Ruddock knocked out Bone Crusher Smith for 7 minutes. Mike Tyson couldn't even knock Smith down. Another punch laid out Michael Dokes for 12 minutes. Dokes may never fight again. A lot of fighters won't get in the ring with Ruddock, but then who in their right mind would? Tyson versus Ruddock, live from the Mirage, March 18th. See it on pay-per-view cable TV.
When a man comes to Kuppenheimer and pays only $265 for a suit that would have cost him $400 somewhere else, he feels like celebrating. And with the money he saved, he can afford to. The Premier Edition suit, only at Kuppenheimer. America's #1 value clothier for men.
There's a traffic jam of presidents all heading to your Dodge dealer's big savings spectacular.
You can save over 278 Lincolns on the redesigned Dodge Caravan,
including air at no extra charge.
Save up to 4,200 George Washingtons on full-size pickups.
Ram tough. Or you can save over 80 Andrew Jacksons on the sporty Dodge Spirit. Hurry to your Dodge dealer.
And you'll have the presidents right in the palm of your hand.
Receive 2 round-trip United Airlines tickets when you take delivery of a Dodge Spirit or Dakota.
Mayoral candidate R. Eugene Pincham says Governor Edgar's proposed budget is unfair to Chicago, and Pincham is blaming Mayor Daley for ignoring the problem. The proposed state budget will cost Chicago about $40 million and cause the city to pick up a $17 million tab for welfare payments. Pincham says Mayor Daley should be doing more to convince Governor Edgar how much this proposal could hurt poor Chicagoans.
He hasn't stated what he would do. He's merely saying to the people of the state of Illinois and the city of Chicago, and indeed to the governor, that we can't do anything because it will bankrupt the city as it bankrupted New York. That's what he's saying, and that's no solution.
This is a proposal by the governor, and I've taken a position against many of these proposals, and then you work with the legislative body.
Mayor Daley says he's been meeting with legislative leaders on the impact Governor Edgar's budget could have on the quality of life for Chicagoans. Also today, Mayor Daley's Republican opponent, George Gottlieb, said the mayor should be arrested for, as he put it, masquerading as a public official. Mr. Gottlieb says he plans to shake things up in what he calls Daley's Rose Garden.
Well, the University of Illinois at Chicago has a new chancellor tonight. Acting Chancellor James Stuckel was appointed to the job permanently by the Board of Trustees. Stuckel's patience was rewarded with an 8-to-1 vote in his favor, including 1 abstention. Governor Jim Edgar cast one of those votes at the urging of University President Stanley Eikenberry. Stuckel says he already has an agenda in place.
I think issues of elementary education, issues of healthcare delivery, and education of minorities at the collegiate level are very high on our agenda, have been for the last 8 months, and will continue to be in the months to come.
Stuckel beat out Dr. Paula Wolf for the job despite heavy lobbying from Mayor Daley and former Governor Thompson. Two trustees who didn't vote for Stuckel complained that the university's search system excludes women and minorities from top jobs. Marianne.
A new study released today reports that pregnant women who work at video display terminals do not increase their risk of miscarriage. These conclusions, published in the New England Journal of Medicine, resulted from 4 years of research done by the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health. The study focused on 1,000 telephone operators who worked at terminals and 1,000 others who did not. The researchers found there was no higher miscarriage rate among the video terminal users than among the non-users.
2% of women who carry the term have what we call congenital malformations, some maldevelopment. Lots of things during the course of a pregnancy could have caused that.
Dr. Charles says he's comfortable with the study, but some critics say the findings are not conclusive. Cancer researchers tonight say they've identified a gene that was what they call a smoking gun link to an early stage of colon cancer. This mutated gene was discovered by researchers at Johns Hopkins Oncology Center, and the discovery could lead to a test that would identify people at high risk from this disease, which kills 60,000 Americans every year.
Well, coming up, Michael J. Fox makes James Woods miserable in the hard way. When we come back, Roger Ebert tells us whether the audience is any happier.
Well, after a nasty midweek spell of weather, we've earned a good Friday end of the work week. We'll have that forecast in a couple of seconds. First, some other locations around the country and their weather forecasts for Friday.
American Airlines is proud to announce special low fares that go everywhere. We have low fares going from Florida to the majestic West to Hawaii. Low fares going to Europe, the Caribbean, Latin America, and the Far East. Our special low fares are good now and for the summer. So call us or your travel agent now, because with all the low fares we've got going, now's the time for you to be going too.
After owning a lot of used cars, I learned my lesson. Now I work hard for my money, and I needed a car to fit my budget. I found it at my Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealer, a 1991 Excel. It's loaded with standard features, it's got a 3-year warranty, and I put my factory rebate towards my down payment, so my payments are less than I get with most used cars. At this price, there is only one choice, Hyundai Excel.
See your Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealer today.
In a stressful world, discover WNUA 95.5, a smooth, unique way to relax. Your escape from ordinary music. Smooth jazz. Unique music for unique people. WNUA 95.5.
If you just can't wait for spring, here's a tip. The 6 best days of spring are finally here. Field days at Marshall Field, now through Sunday. Don't miss them.
At least here in Chicago, that snow melted very quickly.
Yes, all around the state. We're hoping that there's considerable snow melt before anything else happens. That would be to say some heavy rains, for instance, downstate and in Indiana, which may cause some flood problems.